Section 8 y'all favorite land is. Oh, the motherfuckers that don't have Section 8 just mad.
President Trump has put a 2-year limit on Section 8.
Like, people use Section 8 as just a clutch and just spend their money on whatever they want, get their little cheap rent.
Trump said the applications for Section 8 in housing has been put on a hold.
All y'all sitting around with them little minimum wage jobs paying $400-500 a month, 3, 4, 5 bedroom homes with 10, 11 kids. It's over. It's over. Section 8 is out of there.
Trump said stop being dependent and become independent.
All right, so there's a lot going on with Section 8, investors, everything. We got to talk about this. Let's get to the bottom of what's going on. A lot of great videos out there. Let's talk about it.
Trump is not wrong for limited amount of years that you could be on Section 8. Let's be real. Some of these people been on Section 8 since I was a kid, and I'm 19 years old. You've been on Section 8 for 19 motherfucking years. No, it's time for your lady to get off of Section 8 and get the fucking work. No shame. Like, people use Section 8 as just a clutch and just spend their money on whatever they want, get their little cheap rent, and then they stay on it. And then the younger girls, we having kids, and they can't really get no jobs, especially in a time like right now. It's like, girl, that's not fair. Fuck no. I don't feel bad for none of them motherfuckers. Unless they disabled, unless some people, the only people I feel bad for is disabled or very elderly people that cannot work. But if you are in your 30s, 40s, and low-key your late 20s too, and you can work, like I'm talking about, you can go get you a career, I don't feel bad for you getting kicked off Section 8 because you've been on there for 10, 20 years. No shade. In Georgia, to qualify for Section 8, I think it's $40,000. You can only make $40,000 a year for a 4-person household. So if a household with a mama, daddy, and 2 kids, they make $40K a year, and they're on Section 8 paying $500 in rent. Mind you, $40,000 a year is around what, $3,000 some dollars a month. If you can't save at least $1,000 while you on Section 8, your ass don't deserve to be on there. Like, if you on there for 2 years, you can't save at least $10, $20, $30, $40,000 to, you know what I'm saying, restart your life and get your life back on track. Baby, you do not deserve to be on there. Because some of y'all get y'all cheap rent and then y'all gonna splurge y'all money on a whole bunch of other shit. And then the young mamas try to get on Section 8 and they can't because all these old motherfuckers making money and not trying to get off of it. No shade. I don't feel bad.
President Trump has put a 2-year limit on Section 8 for all of those Section 8 voucher holders. Well, not exactly. He spoke about the 2-year limit, but it has not passed. He is right now working towards eliminating the fraud and other things that's going on within the HUD program to save that program some money. Now, there has been talks about this 2-year limit, but it has not yet passed through Congress. But I cannot say that I disagree with this 2-year limit on Section 8. Section 8 is supposed to be a stepping stone for families. But there are so many people that are on Section 8 that has been on Section 8 for a lifetime, to the point to where other families don't have a chance to get that help, that assistance, and get ahead themselves. I don't think that's fair for people to stay on Section 8 for 18, 19 years and not give other families that's in need the opportunity to receive those sort of benefits. So I do not disagree with President Trump on this time limit.
I mean, that's very deep. That's true. It was meant to be a very temporary program, get people on their feet. You lose your job, down and out, apply for Section 8, get some help, get some subsistence, get some assistance. And then all of a sudden it turned into this lifelong, I'm going to stay on it forever. This is across the board. It was the same way with the food stamps. I just got done with the food stamp video. Same thing. You see people getting these crazy amounts of food. I mean, they're even vlogging their food hauls on TikTok to brag about what they're getting and how they're doing it. And
Trump said the applications for Section 8 in housing has been put on a hold for the next 6 months because it's overloaded and backed up with so many people trying to get benefits right now. They're trying to figure out what the laws are. Now, I know a lot of people been waiting to be on Section 8, waiting to be on housing, vouchers. Some people even have vouchers in hand. So it's a sad situation for most. But I say to the people, man, I say, y'all, we got to go harder, man. Because the way the world turning, we don't know which way we gonna go next. And they changing laws left and right. And we don't have no say-so over none of this. So for all the women out here, man, and all the men out here trying to get Section 8 in housing, trying to be able to provide.
I believe for those single moms, single dads, families down and out, hey, you need assistance for a bit. That's part of being an American, living in America, living in a rich country, is we protect those that just don't have it. But to be on it 10, 15, 20 years, now you're just working the program. Like throughout so many of these videos, I've seen people bragging about getting a minimum wage job, working just enough hours to stay within the minimums, to make sure that, they're not trying to get their education, or they're just playing the educational system to not make any money and keep getting these programs. And at some point, these programs are going to break. I mean, many elderly, handicapped are not able to get into these programs because the backlog of applications is so long. I mean, we're talking years of backlogs. I mean, I watched stories of people that waited for Section 8 for 5, 10 years. Some elderly people have been on it since 2015, 2012. The backlog is that much. And when we think about what is Section 8, the government is giving investors a reason to create housing for people. The American government, the federal government, does not provide housing for anybody. They incentivize investors to create housing for people. And even that, we'll hear later with some investors saying they're done with Section 8 across the board.
Say finna take Section 8, y'all favorite line is, oh, the motherfuckers that don't have Section 8 just mad. Bitch, we ain't mad. Y'all mad because they taking. Only reason we were ever mad is because you bitches will sit on that Section 8 for 10 fucking generations, bitch. What the motherfucker only feel away because now they're finna take it away, and all my fucking years of living, I can't even get in there. So yeah, Grandma Lucinda gotta come up off of that. Sorry. And to make matters worse, did y'all know that if your mama had Section 8 and she passed away, it get passed down to her kids? This ain't no fucking generational wealth around this. I honestly thought Section 8 was to help motherfuckers get on their feet. After about 3 to 5 years, you should be on y'all feet by now. Am I wrong? It's motherfuckers just growing up, getting their cribs, they 18 and shit, don't even know where to start, gotta jump right into paying $1,500 worth of rent. And you bitches 55, 40, all type of shit on Section 8, paying $100 on the rent and shit. No, motherfuckers tired of it. So no, we're not mad. We just mad because we never been able to get the fucking assistance because y'all sit up on it all fucking this time.
Does anybody know if that's true or not? I don't know. Comment down below. And kids get grandfathered into these programs and then just it keeps going that way? Is that why we're not seeing turnover every few years of these Section 8 rentals? I mean, if rent is annual, it goes on 1-year contracts, and somebody stays there for a very long time, and then they pass away, and they'll say there's young kids in the house, dependents. Do they carry on that same Section 8 voucher? Is that why people are staying on it so long? Like, comment down below if you know. I don't know. I'm just trying to grasp the subject right now. If you give breadcrumbs to a certain group of people for long enough, they will just get complacent and live off those crumbs. You cannot just sit there and take whatever the government hands you. You have to be building your own empire, getting that savings plan, getting that next job, working your way up the ladder. Because if they shut these programs off in the future, you're going to be out of luck. And we're seeing every 4 years, every 8 years, there is a different policy with politicians doing different things to change the benefits you're getting. And you can't rely on that for your family, for your mom, dad, yourself, your kids, and then think that as kids, you're going to get what your parents got with Section 8, food stamps. And pretty soon you have a group of people that are completely reliant on the government. That's what we're seeing. And now what? Now what? What are you going to do with all these people that have nowhere to go? They can't get back out into the economy and prosper. You've got to constantly be working on yourself, understanding financing, understanding investing, starting to build wealth yourself, owning property. Heck, even getting into a rental property that's forcing you into growing yourself financially, learning from your mentors and your peers, getting peers. I mean, whatever happened to the community? I watched an Amish person's barn burn down the other day on YouTube. Burned all the way to the ground. And within 8 days, the Amish community had rebuilt that humongous, it had to have been 20,000 square foot barn. In 8 days, they had completely rebuilt it. because the community picked itself up and said, you know what, you deserve better than that. We're going to help you out. But when these entitlement programs are so full of fraud, the money is wasted at every which level. It's wild. And what I see these politicians are trying to do is send it back down to the state level and say, state, maybe you can monitor these programs better than the federal government. At the 30,000 foot view, it's really hard to see what everybody's doing on their applications. And to wade through all of them, it's just a handful of people in a fraud office. And I mean, the food stamp video, like I did, man, researching that video was just mind-boggling. It was eye-opening to see. One, there's a lot of people out there that need this stuff. There's a lot of handicapped people, elderly, they need this stuff. Then there's a lot of able-bodied people that are not even trying. And they know how to run the system. They teach each other how to run the system. And that's where they're at. Now, one day that table is going to turn on those young people, and they're going to look up and they've got nothing and they're too old to figure it out. But for the elderly, they need these programs. They need to be pushed to the front of the line. These applications need to be sifted through. And the investors are really in a hurt right now because they have been planning Section 8 is going to be by these rules. And they're buying these properties from a distance, sight unseen, throwing a tenant in there, thinking it's going to be automatic. And they're starting to get their eyes opened that the rules are different. They're going to change very quickly. And a lot of times you get tenants that are playing the system. They won't pay. Then they'll call Section 8 and say, hey, there's a problem with the Section 8. It's got no handicap rails and there's something wrong with the property. Come look at it. So they withhold the payment. Section 8 comes out after they've been sent pictures. They're like, you need to fix these things. The landlords scramble to fix them. And then before they come out again for the reinspect, they tear it up again and say, well, they never fixed it. And it's all about what that inspector saw at that moment, kind of like an appraiser on a house. It's what he saw at that moment, not what was there 30 seconds before or 30 seconds after. It's what he saw right there, game, set, match, and the game keeps going. They don't pay, and then they withhold the funds, and then here's the landlord months in with no payment, still having to pay the mortgage or pay the taxes or the maintenance and all these repairs and all these things. And you know what? They're finally like, you know what? I don't want to play this game anymore. I don't want to rent. And they just either sell all their properties or say, I'm not doing Section 8 anymore. It's a very interesting and complex situation on both sides.
So I want to talk about, why is no one talking about statistics? When you look at all of the housing projects throughout New York, New Jersey, in low-income areas, Newark, wherever you're looking, right? Wherever you're looking, just say it with me. I don't know. I've never heard any elders in the project say they wanted to move out. I've never heard anybody in NYCHA say I want to move out. I have, however, heard people in NYCHA go finance a Mercedes, go finance a Maybach. It's the mentality is sick. And a lot of times in BLK families, I'm telling you the real, in minority families, you're coming of age, that's the best thing for your mother. Because BLK families are going to tell you, oh, well, you're 18 now, you can go get a voucher, they're going to give you an apartment, you can get some housing. And that conversation is more common than what college do you want to go to. Food stamp conversation is more common. Medicaid conversation is more common than what college do you want to go to. Are you using birth control? Are you sexually active? I'm telling you. In these communities. And then you'll see a gang of young girls having babies. Like, I grew up in the suburbs. Nobody in my graduating class had a baby in high school outside of weird circumstances. You didn't go to school and you didn't see girls pregnant. In urban areas, they see that. Now, I don't know why you guys are okay with it, but I don't want my daughter at school with a 14-year-old pregnant bitch. And I understand that happens, but it can be prevented. Because if you're hanging out with 5 friends and they're all broke, bitch, you're getting ready to be the 6th one. This cycle is so repetitive. It's repetitive because they don't know any better. The people are not educated. This is part of the post-traumatic slave syndrome, and I'm speaking from it because I lived it too. My family can tell you how to apply for every fucking benefit known to man in the state. All BLK families can in low-income housing units. They don't give a fuck because the housing authority is their baby father. NYCHA is their man. NYCHA is the plan. But nobody wants to talk about this. And then when you say something to these bitches, rather than them be receptive and say, you know what, I need to change something, because they're so ignorant and f***ed up and they see no way out, they just gonna get on a platform and cuss you out. Cuss you out rather than go sit down with a notebook and write down some dreams like, hey, I don't have a driver's license. I live in NYCHA and I've been on vacation 13 times, but I don't have a driver's license. Hey,
I've been on nights. I've been going to school for 13 years so tenants can pay my fucking rent. But I still don't have a job that's substantial enough so that I can get out of NYCHA.
Wow, that was deep. A lot of what she said, deep. You know, the way you get out of these type of situations is you say, I want to change. I have got to get out of here. How can I do that? One, I got to change my financial situation. I got to learn about finances. I got to learn about having a savings account, building it up until I can put my shoes on, I can get the bus ticket, and I can get out of here to somewhere better, whether it's the military, whether it's going into some type of civil service, or it's going to work on a cruise liner, or going to do something outside of where the problem is, outside of that sphere that is dragging me down. And then once you start to build some wealth, and you start trying to own a house, and you start trying to own stocks and own financial assets, and you start accumulating some wealth, you go to school, you get a skill set that is worth more. You learn things that make you more valuable to other people. You increase your network, your sphere of influence. You learn how to speak. You learn how to make some type of something that's worth more to somebody else, productive. Then all of a sudden, you're out of these bad situations. I had many young soldiers in the military. I was probably really one of them too, that had nowhere to go. But they found a spot in the United States military. It gave them a job, gave them food, gave them a place to sleep, gave them clean clothes, and that was their bedrock to move up in the world. And that's what they did. And they looked up their E5, E6, or their lieutenant captain. They got some money saved up. They got some experiences. They got a resume. They got some things they can do. They get out of the military and they go be productive. And military is not the only way to do it. But sometimes it is a bedrock for a lot of people to get out of these bad situations. These situations where there's drugs, where there's violence, and it's not safe. And you've got to change your paradigm to change your situation.
Now, Trump said he taking Section 8. All y'all sitting around with them little minimum wage jobs paying $400-500 a month, 3, 4, 5 bedroom homes with 10, 11 kids. It's over. It's over. Section 8 is out of there. Y'all are done. I don't want to see no more foreigns in the driveways. You got to pay full rent now. See, y'all was only paying a few $100s on these $2,000, $3,000 a month Section 8 houses. Guess what? That is done. Now, guess what you got to do? 2, 3 jobs. Take that foreign back. Yeah. Come over here to the Chevy side. Go get you a Chevy, a Toyota Corolla, something that's convenient and reliable and affordable. Because guess what? All them foreigns and them Gucci bags with the slippers to match and the belts, that's done. Y'all are out of there. It's over with. Guess what? Now, you motherfucker go stay with your mamas, go live in them basements. Go get in the basement. You need to go get in that basement with your mama, goddamn me. And guess what? Your kids, take them out of them schools you've been paying for. It's done.
Because what the fuck is wrong with Section 8? When did that become such a bad thing? Like, it's good over here. Run me that Section 8 immediately. Give it to me now. Like, what are we talking about? Like, are y'all cool? Are y'all okay? Y'all care so much about what people think, how people feel. Do you know what type of houses people are getting on Section 8? Are y'all cool? Y'all are not okay. Like, please give me the Section 8. Is the list open? Is the list like what? Run me that. I don't care. I will get that shit tattooed on my cheek. I got Section 8. Y'all crazy.
Many people. I grew up with many people that were on Section 8. And it was their life-saving grace. It's just not meant to be there forever. It's the way I understand it. Comment down below if you know more about this than I do. That if you have multiple kids, so let's say you have a male and a female, they are entitled to different rooms. So therefore you go from like maybe a 2-1 that now you need a 3-1. Or if you have 3 kids, let's say, and they can't cohabitate in the same rooms, like 2 females, 2 males, then all of a sudden you need a 4-bedroom. And so as more kids happen, I believe, the way I understand it, the voucher system can change to where you get bigger houses, bigger floor plans, bigger, until some of these Section 8s are $3,000-4,000 a month. And it's getting subsidized by the government. It is very wild, and a lot of these people are wanting to stay on it forever because they know if they ever get off of it, they'll never live like that again. But what it is doing, it is creating a situation where an entire section of society is not creating any wealth. They're not motivated to change their status in society. And we have a whole section of young people not doing anything, not going anywhere, not producing anything. And I don't know how this works out. I mean, for the last 50, 60 years, whether you're in Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, New York, California, I mean, there's an entire map like of where Section 8 is so big. And there's just many issues here. Comment down below if you're on it, or if you've been on it, or whether you think it's a good plan or not. Comment down below so we can all argue about it and we can all learn, because I'm learning here as much as y'all are. I'm just a guy sitting in a shed right now talking about Section 8. But I do happen to be a real estate investor and somebody that is a real estate professional, and I see this stuff on a daily basis, and there is a lot to learn here. Now let's listen to this investor.
The Trump administration recently proposed to cut the Section 8 housing program, as well as any other housing voucher program. And this came as a result of them trying to cut rental aid by 40% during a proposal that they put out. I even seen within this proposal, they said they wanted to put a 2-year cap on rental aid for able-bodied adults. So that's a cap, so people can't, I guess, take advantage of the programs. Now, of course, this is going to affect people who are, who participate in the program, who utilize the program for affordable housing, but it is really going to impact as well real estate investors that utilize Section 8 program, because you invest in certain location. It's hard for you to get your rental income. Instead of going through that path, you try to go through this program because it can kind of quote unquote guarantee your income. Well, your portfolio may be impacted by this. And this is why you got to put yourself in a position to pivot when things like this happens, because we all are subject to regulatory risk. That's why a lot of companies and stuff lobby, because they know the power of that pen. Whoever has the power to pass a law or regulation can completely dismantle your business, your portfolio, or whatever activity you're doing. So real estate investors that utilize Section 8, be prepared for this impact to your potential portfolio. And
that means there's going to be less nice properties out there for people to rent with Section 8. They're just not going to do it. The return is not going to be there if they start messing around with these policies. Not only does it hurt the tenant, it hurts the investors. I heard somebody saying, oh, it's just the rich people, the rich people. No, lots of rich people own property rentals that does Section 8. That's why there is a lot of Section 8. And if you start messing with how much money that is the entitlement programs to Section 8, people are going to just sell them. They're just going to fire them off. The portfolios will go away, and there won't be as much Section 8. Trust me, the landlords will get hurt just as much as the tenant.
That Section 8 stuff is not guaranteed, bro.
It's a sham. I'll never forget my last Section 8 experience. And this is when I was like, we're done. And it was like a 4-bedroom place. So the Section 8 inspector comes in before she moves in, and he's like, this unit is very nice. Section 8 guaranteed $1,000 of her rent. She was responsible for $400. She moves in, she doesn't pay the $400. And we're like, whatever. Second month, she doesn't pay the $400 again. Third month, doesn't pay it again. So we drop an eviction notice. She goes through and destroys the unit. She takes outlet covers off. She breaks the handrails, breaks the stove handle off. And then she calls Section 8. And it's like, my unit's not fit for the program. My landlord's a slumlord. So we go there, we fix everything. And then we have to get it re-inspected. This whole thing took about 30 days.
Yeah.
And Section 8 holds your money back too. They won't pay it. So then the morning of the re-inspection with the Section 8 guy, I meet him outside and we go to walk in her unit, and we had just fixed everything. She destroyed it all over again before we came back in.
Did you take pictures?
Yeah, we took, but it didn't matter. It was about what he saw in the moment. So then what you have to do next is you elevate it to their caseworker. It's the government. It takes forever. It just ended up being a mess. We ended up getting her out, but we lost like 8 months worth of rent and the unit was in shambles.
Trump said, if you are on Section 8 of housing, you only get 2 years. Now, I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear that, but understand the matter of the fact is that a lot of people get on this Section 8 and get this housing, and they sit on it for years, and they never do nothing else with their life. They get content and comfortable with what's going on in front of them. They sit up, they buy bags, they got the most expensive cars, they buying their kids all these expensive clothes, instead of saving money and putting this money up to progress, to get ahead in life. It's like somebody asking you for a loan to get ahead on their their bills, but then they never get ahead on their bills because next month they need your help again. They need your help again because they really tricked all that money off. See, the thing is this. You need to get up off your ASS, do something with your life, and stop trying to sit around on housing in Section 8 for the rest of your life because it's not going to always be there. What are you going to do if they...
That's true. These programs could end tomorrow. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but the United States is broke, okay? They got no money. The debt ceiling is through the roof. Only thing they can do is refinance this stuff. And what do they do when they refinance this stuff? They take more entitlement, they sprinkle it back down. And cannot plan on these entitlement programs, these programs like Section 8 and food stamps and all these subsidies to constantly be there, because one day they might not be. America might just be broke. And you have to take it on yourself to become responsible for your own financial situation, whether it's learning entrepreneurship, getting a better skill set, learning a trade, learning how to fix stuff, learning how to solve problems for rich people. That's how you become off the bottom and you become wealthy. And you start learning about passive income. That's where we got to get everybody in America some financial education. It needs to start at a young age in the school system, learning how to do taxes, learning how to do the tax code, knowing how tax write-offs work, knowing how to take out a mortgage, how to balance a checkbook. These are things that people have to learn because one day this might all be over.
So Section 8 housing is on the chopping block. So in order for Donald Trump to get no tax on overtime, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security passed in his tax cut plan, he is proposing to cut $26.7 billion out of Section 8 housing. Now, to go along with that, he's saying that he wants to put a 2-year cap on the benefits that somebody could receive from Section 8 housing if they don't have a disability, which means basically you have 2 years if you able-bodied to get your stuff together. And I think that's more than fair. Why? Because this program was meant to give you a hand up, not for you to ride it till you die, right? So now a lot of people go be in very peculiar situations because they made Section 8 housing a lifestyle, right? And my thing is, I'm one of the hardworking Americans, and they got millions of other hardworking Americans out there that we are tired of going to work, paying into a system for somebody else to sit on their ass. I'm going to say it again. We tired of going to work, paying into a system so that system could pay somebody else to sit on their ass. Those days are over. And particularly to the black community, this is a huge, huge win for us. Let me tell you why. So this is where it all went wrong. Whenever the government tried to step in and say, we gonna pay for everything, they completely destroyed our black communities. They gave us Section 8 housing. They gave us all type of government aid. They took fathers out the house. They built all our schools and stuff in the communities around Section 8. And now we don't pay no taxes to get stuff up for the upkeep of schools or anything in our communities. Now they look bad. And what this is gonna do is this is gonna uplift our community, get able-bodied people back to work, and in turn we're going to be able to put more taxes of our hard-earned money into our communities. And that's what it's about. Now, you're going to have all of these socialists, liberals. They love to talk about they're cutting out welfare and all that. But they never sit down and tell you their plan to get the people off of welfare. Well, I'm here to tell y'all the way you get off welfare to get your stuff together. We have a lot of opportunities out there, whether it's trade, college, being an entrepreneur. You don't have to spend a ton of money. You just have to put your mind together and get something that works for you. The days of being lazy is over. The days of people going to work just so you could sit on the couch is over. Now, a lot of people will go say a lot of disrespectful stuff in the comments about, well, you tap dancing and all that. No, I'm being realistic. I'm tired of seeing our young generation have to go to schools that haven't been upgraded since you went there 20 years ago. because we built a school in the hood, in the ghetto, where ain't nobody paying taxes. And then you're gonna have some people that say, what about the people, the single women that have 6 kids and she's doing it by herself? Well, let me tell y'all something. Yes, life is hard for some people, but having kids is your free choice. It's your choice. Whenever you go to the store with $100, do you go up in there and say, I'm going to spend $200 worth for groceries? No, you do not. If you're only making $20,000 a year, stop going to the baby making factory. That's common sense. And I'm tired of pretending that it's not. I'm tired of pretending. Now, could life happen to some people? Maybe they lose somebody. Maybe they lose their husband or their wife or something. Absolutely. And those people should be assisted. And I would advocate for those people to be assisted. But that's not the norm, and that's not the case in most situations. And also, I would also advocate that older people that are on Section 8 houses continue to be on Section 8 housing, only because it's not their fault that the system allowed them to retire in the situations that they're in. Could they have went to work at a younger age? Yes, they could, but let's just be real. After some people, after retirement, working just not an option. You get what I'm saying? So it might be too late for some people. So I would advocate for them to put a limit, like a limit, say like 65 years old. If you're already on Section 8 housing, you kind of grandfathered in, continue it. I would support that. But going forward, that won't happen. You know, but overall, I think this is gonna be a huge win. Like I said, I'm pushing for Trump's tax cuts, because no tax on overtime, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security is all stuff that'll benefit everybody, including the black community, which we need that so that we could get a leg up. I hope they continue to drive down inflation, because we need that. We need our wages to outpace inflation, and we needed to do it for a substantial period of time. So, you know, I 100%.
Wow, I think you said that pretty good. What do you think about this? I mean, I think the elderly need to be taken care of. The handicapped need to be taken care of. Those that are just down and out need that 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. Cool. Then on to the next person. We can't just have a program that is just dishing out money everywhere. Because that's all I got, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below. Tried to do my best with this one. This is a tough subject. It's very sticky. I know a lot of people are going to be mad, but I just feel like that we all need to talk about it and figure out what is the happy medium. Because politicians are not going to figure this out. They've already messed it up once. We have a system that's not working, and the country is going broke. So I'll see you guys in the next video.